You know that feeling, right? That little knot in your stomach when you think about following up with a potential client. Is it going to feel like you're pestering them, or are you just, trying to push a sale? It feels awkward. Sometimes it's, well, dreadful. But what if it didn't have to be like that? What if maybe clients actually welcomed your follow up? Today, we're taking a deep dive into the secret to follow up that clients actually welcome. And this isn't about like aggressive tactics or those slick sales pitches. Our dive into this really revealed a surprisingly simple but a profoundly effective approach. It's all service minded. It kind of transforms follow up from, a chore into this value driven connection. You're building genuine relationships, not just chasing transactions. This is really about authentic engagement, making your clients feel truly seen and valued. Okay, let's unpack this.
What's fascinating here is how much like common wisdom gets turned on its head. Our research really hammered home that the fundamental shift from just selling to actually serving,
Yeah.
well, it changes the entire client experience. When you approach follow-up with that mindset, it stops being this burden.
Yeah.
And it truly becomes just a natural extension of the value you're already trying to provide.
Exactly. The secret isn't some complex algorithm or, I don't know, a new app. Our deep dive just kept pointing back to one core truth. It's a foundational mindset shift. It's about understanding that building genuine relationships and delivering consistent value
Yeah.
that should be at the heart of every interaction, especially after that initial conversation. Traditional salesy follow-up often feels like a chase, right? It's all about your agenda. This approach, based on what we found, it's, well, the complete opposite.
Right. And this mindset isn't just, fluffy theory. We consistently saw why this shift is so crucial. When you lead with service, you instantly start building trust. It's almost automatic. You demonstrate a long-term commitment to their success, not just a short-term transaction for you. This positions you as a trusted resource, like an ally, rather than just another vendor trying to get something. It creates this inviting, positive experience for the client because they feel you're truly there to help them, not just close a deal.
Yeah.
It kind of raises an important question, though. How do you actually do this in practice, beyond just thinking differently?
Ah, yes. That's the practical core of our deep dive. This is where it gets really interesting. The immediate, tangible actions you can take, starting right after that initial interaction. We're talking about those critical first steps, like within the first 48 hours. So first step, send a same-day recap email. Now, you might think this is basic, maybe even obvious, but our research showed it's incredibly powerful. You're summarizing key discussion points from your conversation. Doing that immediately demonstrates active listening, right? Shows you truly understood their needs. One piece we looked at highlighted that the simple act can boost perceived professionalism by like up to 20%. It maintains momentum while everything's fresh in their mind, yours and theirs. It's sort of this quiet communication of competence and care.
It absolutely sets the tone. By sending that recap, you're not just confirming details, you're showing a level of thoughtfulness and professionalism that really stands out,
Yeah.
especially now in such a crowded market. It's about demonstrating attention to detail and, a commitment to clarity right from the get-go. What's often surprising is how many people just don't do this consistently. It's a missed opportunity.
Definitely. And building on that, within 2 days, the advice is strongly to share a relevant resource. Now, this isn't just sending something generic off your blog. It needs to be a helpful article, maybe a useful template, or even a tool that's specifically related to the challenges you actually discussed. For instance, if they mention struggling with, say, client onboarding, you might send an article on best practices for that specific thing. This establishes your commitment to their success beyond the immediate sale. It proves you're thinking about how to genuinely help them, not just what you can sell them. We saw some data indicating clients who got this kind of personalized resource within 48 hours were like 3 times more likely to engage in a follow-up conversation. 3 times.
Yeah, that personalization at this early stage is incredibly impactful. It really shifts you from being just some generic contact to someone who genuinely gets their situation and is willing to invest a little in their success. It signals you're a proactive problem solver, not just sitting back waiting for them to tell you exactly what they need. It builds that first layer of social capital, that reservoir of trust and goodwill. It's huge.
And finally, for this initial phase, something really practical. Document key insights in your relationship management system, your CRM or whatever you use. And I mean specific insights, their challenges, their goals, maybe unique interests that came up in conversation. Little details. Why? Because this forms the foundation for all future interactions. It ensures every follow-up you do down the line is truly personalized and relevant. You avoid that generic, one-size-fits-all communication that clients just immediately tune out. It's a small effort up front that pays off big time later.
Precisely. These initial steps, the recap, the relevant resource, and the detailed documentation, they're just paramount. They signal thoughtfulness and genuine interest right away, setting a profoundly positive tone for the whole relationship. You're showing, not just telling, that you value their time and their specific needs. It's about making every touch point intentional. Our research showed that clients often remember the feeling of those initial interactions long after the details might have faded. That feeling sticks.
Okay, so we've covered those crucial first 48 hours, super important. What happens then? How do we keep that momentum going and build even deeper value, say, in the next week or two? Usually like days 3 to 14. This is where you stay visible and valuable, but without being intrusive. It's a bit of a balancing act. So one key action here is to engage meaningfully with their online content. And meaningfully is the key word. This means thankfully commenting on their LinkedIn posts, maybe their company blog, or other professional content. It's definitely not about spamming their feed with generic or great post comments. It's about showing you pay attention to their industry, their thoughts, their company's activities. Our sources really emphasize this maintains visibility without direct pressure, and it subtly reinforces your connection. It's a low-pressure, high-value way to just remind them you exist and you care.
Yeah, this is such a great way to stay top of mind without actually asking for anything directly. It's passive but effective. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, these actions build that social capital we mentioned, that essential trust and influence. That directly impacts things like your referral rate, your long-term client loyalty. You're showing you're part of their world, you understand their professional landscape, and you're genuinely interested in what they're up to.
Right. Another really powerful action in this phase is to make strategic introductions. If you know someone in your network or maybe a specific resource
Yeah.
that could genuinely help them address a challenge they mentioned, connect them. What we saw indicated that this isn't just a nice thing to do, it elevates you. It shifts you beyond being just a service provider to like a true strategic partner. You're actively looking out for their best interests, even if it doesn't directly benefit you right now in the short term. This fosters incredible goodwill and reinforces your position as a trusted ally.
Mhm. This is exactly where the relationship truly moves beyond being purely transactional. It starts focusing on mutual growth. I remember this one consultant who, after just an initial chat, connected me with someone in his network who perfectly addressed a specific pain point I had mentioned offhand. He wasn't trying to sell me anything at that moment. He was simply serving. That gesture, it stuck with me far more than any sales pitch ever could.
That's a great example. And finally, for this phase, consider sharing a case study or a success story. But here's the trick, and our deep dive really hammered this home. Focus on providing practical insights they can actually apply. Not just a sales pitch about how great you are. Show them how a similar challenge was solved. Highlight the methods or the approaches that led to success so they can potentially adapt those learnings for themselves. It's about show, don't tell.
Yeah, that focus on practical insight is absolutely key. It provides tangible value and demonstrates your expertise, but in a really non-salesy way. You're offering solutions, maybe some inspiration, which builds your credibility and keeps them engaged with your thinking. It's a subtle way of saying, look, we understand problems like yours, and here's how they've been successfully tackled for others. It's useful.
Okay, so as we get into that third and fourth week, typically days 15 to 30, things kind of shift again, don't they? How do we continue to progress the relationship without ever feeling pushy? Because nobody wants that. This is where what we're calling permission-based progress comes into play. It's about naturally deepening the relationship, but always respecting their pace and their interests. So the first step here is to check in with a value-first message. What does that mean? It means reaching out with maybe some additional insights or resources that are directly related to their specific situation, and then this is crucial, asking if they'd like to explore further. What we saw showed that this just flips the dynamic. It's not you pushing anymore, it's them potentially pulling. It's like saying, hey, I've got some more useful stuff here if you're interested, but seriously, no pressure at all.
Absolutely. This highlights the power of that permission-based interaction. It really empowers the client, puts them in the driver's seat, and significantly reduces any feeling of being pushed or, pressured. It's a really respectful approach that builds autonomy and comfort. It's like inviting someone to dance rather than just dragging them onto the floor.
Exactly. And along with that, offer clear next steps. Based on their expressed interests and how engaged they've seemed so far, present some natural progression options. Don't just say, let's connect, be specific. For instance, our deep dive revealed that giving clear choices really increases conversion rates. You might ask something like, Would you like to schedule a brief call next week to discuss X in more detail? Or maybe would a quick demo of Y be more helpful right now in illustrating how we can address that challenge? This makes it super easy for them to say yes or, frankly, even no without any awkwardness.
Providing those clear, low-friction next steps is critical for any forward momentum. It removes ambiguity, and it just makes it easy for the client to decide how, or even if, they want to proceed. It shows you respect their time and you're flexible.
And a really smart move here, maybe a bit more behind the scenes, is to document their response patterns. Keep track of which types of follow-up generated the most positive engagement. What kind of resources did they actually click on? What topics seemed to spark their interest in replies? This data, drawing from all the insights we gathered, helps you refine your approach for future interactions. It makes you more effective and, importantly, less intrusive over time. You actually learn what resonates with them specifically.
Exactly right. The data from those response patterns helps you become more effective and less intrusive over time. It really does. It allows you to tailor your communication even more precisely, ensuring your follow-up truly is welcomed because it's directly aligned with what that specific client finds valuable. It's kind of like having a personal guide for each client's preferences. Super useful.
So, okay, this sounds great for the initial stages, but what does this all mean for the long game? How do you extend this approach beyond that first month or so into really lasting client relationships? This is where long-term nurture and solid relationship management come in. So for long-term nurture, the advice we saw was to schedule regular value touch points systematically. Think about creating a system, maybe in your calendar or CRM, to share relevant insights and resources, maybe every 30 to 45 days, something like that. This could be a personalized email, maybe an invite to a webinar you're hosting, or just a link to a new industry report you found interesting. It's about consistent, non-salesy value that keeps you top of mind, but without being burdensome.
Yeah, consistency is absolutely key here. It really demonstrates that you're not just there for the quick win,
Yeah.
but that you're genuinely committed to their ongoing success as, like, a partner. One study we looked at highlighted that companies using these consistent, value-driven touch points saw something like a 15% higher client retention rate. That's significant.
It really is. And related to that, you should also monitor and engage with their business developments. Stay aware of their company news, their achievements. If they announce a new product launch on LinkedIn, or maybe they land a big new client, offer genuine congratulations or support. A quick message can go a long way. This shows you're paying attention to their world and you genuinely care about their success. It's about being present in their journey, not just yours.
hmm It's about being a consistent resource and just a supportive presence. That type of engagement builds incredibly strong loyalty, and it keeps you top of mind for future needs without any overt selling involved. It transforms you from just a vendor into, well, a true advocate for them.
And think about creating re-engagement opportunities too. Develop events, maybe specific resources, or even collaboration opportunities that provide natural reconnection points down the line. Maybe it's an exclusive workshop based on emerging industry trends, perhaps a new industry white paper you've put together, or even just a joint venture idea that naturally brings you back into their orbit, providing mutual benefit. Now, alongside this nurture, effective relationship management is just critical. Can't forget this part. First, review and update your contact records regularly, maybe monthly. Ensure all your interaction notes, those follow-up plans, remain current and relevant. This is where that initial documentation really pays off, ensuring your ongoing efforts are always on target, always informed.
Accurate and up-to-date records are, yeah, they're the backbone of any strong relationship strategy.
Right.
They really are. They ensure your interactions are always informed and meaningful. It prevents those really awkward moments where you ask a client about something they've already solved or mentioned weeks ago.
Totally. Then, assess relationship progress, perhaps quarterly. Evaluate how each relationship is developing. Are they engaging? Are they opening your messages, clicking links? This helps you adjust your nurture strategies accordingly, ensuring you're always adapting to their needs and, frankly, not wasting.
Exactly. This periodic assessment is vital. It's about being responsive and agile, ensuring your efforts are always aligned with the client's current status and needs. It's not a static plan you set and forget, but a dynamic, evolving strategy. This adaptability, our sources showed, is really a hallmark of truly successful relationship builders.
And finally, and this might sound counterintuitive, but it's important, maintain clear exit points. This is crucial for respecting boundaries. You need to provide comfortable ways for them to decline further engagement, but in a way that keeps the door open for future opportunities. A simple, hey, no worries at all, if now isn't the right time, we're always here if things change, can make all the difference. It shows respect, it leaves a positive impression, even if it's a no for now. It shows you value their autonomy above everything else.
Yeah, and underscoring all of this is the fundamental idea that consistent value delivery and these adaptable strategies, they are the bedrock of lasting client relationships. It really is that simple and that complex. It's about being a consistent resource for them, not just a one-time solution provider.
Yeah.
You're building this reservoir of goodwill, ensuring that when the time is right, they think of you first.
So, to kind of wrap up the overarching principle of this entire approach, our deep dive consistently showed that this isn't some rigid formula you have to follow blindly. Not at all. It's really flexible framework.
Yep.
The real secret, if you want to call it that, is consistent value delivery combined with a willingness to genuinely adapt to individual responses. Every client is different, right? And your follow-up should absolutely reflect that unique relationship.
Absolutely. Success truly comes from focusing relentlessly on the client's needs and interests throughout the entire process, start to finish. It's about meeting them where they are, listening intently, and continuously demonstrating that you are deeply invested in their success. That's what makes follow-up not just tolerated, but genuinely welcomed. It changes the whole dynamic.
So there you have it. The secret to follow-up that clients actually welcome. It boils down to a service-minded, value-first approach, one that prioritizes genuine connection over just sales pressure. It builds trust, it fosters relationships, and frankly, it just feels better for everyone involved, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. And maybe as you think about your own follow-up habits, consider this. How could shifting your mindset from seeing it as a chore you dread to viewing it as an opportunity to genuinely serve, how could that not only improve your client relationships, but also fundamentally change how you feel about the whole process? What kind of impactful, lasting relationships could you build if every single interaction was focused purely on delivering authentic value, truly making your follow-up a welcome touch point instead of an interruption?
Yeah. Take a moment to reflect on that. How could these principles transform your interactions and help you build truly lasting connections? We really encourage you to try them out. Thanks for diving deep with us today on The Deep Dive.